You miss a week of the gym. Vacation, sickness, work just got insane, doesn't matter why. You walk back in and somehow your arms look smaller, your shirt fits looser. The weight you were lifting last week suddenly feels heavy again. Your brain immediately jumps to one conclusion: I lost all my progress. But did you actually lose muscle in 7 days, or is something else going on that just feels exactly like muscle loss? Let's break down what's really happening in your body during that 1 week off, because almost none of it is what you think. First, let's talk about the timeline, because this is the part that gets skipped constantly. Actual muscle tissue loss, real atrophy, doesn't happen overnight. Research on disuse shows that measurable muscle atrophy can begin within just a couple of days of complete inactivity, but the rate is slow at first and accelerates the longer you stay inactive. One controlled study tracking detraining found a meaningful drop in muscle thickness by the 1 week mark, but it was a small single-digit percentage, not the dramatic shrink your brain is convinced happened. So yes, some tiny amount of muscle size reduction is real. But it's nowhere near enough to explain how different you feel. So what's actually causing that smaller, flatter, weaker feeling? Let's start with glycogen. Every time you train, your muscles store carbohydrate as glycogen, and glycogen holds onto water, roughly 3 grams of water per gram of glycogen. When you stop training, your muscles don't need to refill that glycogen as urgently, so your stores, and the water that comes with them, gradually decline. Research on detraining athletes found muscle glycogen can drop meaningfully within just a few weeks of reduced training, and that decline starts early. Less glycogen and less water means less volume inside the muscle cell. Your muscle is still there, it's just not as full. Then there's the pump itself, or rather, the lack of it. Remember, the pump is fluid temporarily shifting into your muscle during and after training, partly from blood plasma, partly from that glycogen-bound water. A week without training means a week without that repeated fluid shift. Your muscles settle into their resting size, which always looks smaller than the trained, slightly swollen state you're used to seeing in the mirror after a workout. You got used to seeing the pumped version of yourself. The resting version was always going to look different, you just hadn't been looking at it. Now here's the part that explains the strength drop, which feels even more alarming than the size change. A huge portion of your strength isn't just about muscle size, it's about how efficiently your nervous system fires that muscle. This is sometimes called neural readiness or motor unit recruitment efficiency. It's like a skill, and like any skill, it gets rusty fast without practice. After just 1 week off, that neural sharpness dulls slightly. Your brain isn't recruiting muscle fibers as efficiently as it was a week ago. So the weight feels heavier, not because your muscle got smaller, but because the signal telling it to fire is temporarily weaker. There's also a metabolic shift happening that you can't see, but your body can feel. Even short breaks from training have been shown to reduce insulin sensitivity, meaning your muscles become slightly less efficient at pulling in nutrients. This isn't damage, it's just your body downshifting, because it's not getting the training stimulus that normally keeps that system primed. So let's put the actual timeline together. In week 1, you're mostly dealing with glycogen depletion and water loss, a dulling of neural efficiency, and the disappearance of pump-driven fullness. Actual muscle protein loss is happening at a very slow, almost negligible rate at this point. Research specifically looking at resistance-trained individuals found that meaningful, measurable decreases in muscle size generally don't show up until you're well past the 1 week mark, with more significant losses requiring a month or more of complete training cessation. 1 week is nowhere close to that threshold. This is also why you bounce back so fast. When you return to training after a short break, your glycogen stores refill within days, your neural pathways resharpen almost immediately, since that's a skill memory, not a muscle that needs to regrow, and your pump returns by your second or third session back. This is sometimes called the muscle memory effect, and a lot of it is exactly this. You're not rebuilding from scratch, you're just refilling and repriming systems that were never actually gone. So why does missing 1 week feel so catastrophic? Because every signal your body gives you, visual size, the number on the bar, how tight your shirt feels, moves in the same direction at once. Smaller, weaker, flatter, all simultaneously. It feels like total regression because multiple temporary systems dip together. But none of those systems are muscle tissue disappearing. They're water, glycogen, and a temporarily quieter nervous system. If you've ever taken a week off and panicked, you can let that go. Your muscle is still there. Your strength comes back faster than it left. The only real cost of 1 week off is a few days of feeling rusty when you return, not a reset button on your progress. The actual threshold for meaningful muscle loss is weeks, not days. So take the rest when you need it. Your gains are far more durable than that panicked moment in the mirror wants you to believe. If this cleared things up, drop a like and subscribe for more science-backed fitness breakdowns. Let me know in the comments how long was your longest break from the gym. See you in the next one.